Alright, so let's go to Cype Connect and StruBIM still. Okay, we have some features in these programs. Let's open this Cype menu. We can also say that there is a new feature that was not planned to be shown today or to mention in this webinar. That is that now we have Cype Connect and StruBIM still here in the Cype menu. Okay, in the previous versions, these softwares, they were available just to download in our platform, in the BIMserver.center platform. And now it's also available here together with the other softwares of our structure suite. Okay, so yeah, that was not planned, but this is a new feature, we can say that. Okay, so let's open StruBIM still. These features that I'll show here using StruBIM still, they are the same for Cype Connect. We will be opening the connection editor of StruBIM still, which has the same interface that we can see when we use Cype Connect. Okay, so yeah, I'll show in StruBIM still, but it's the same situation for Cype Connect. Okay, this is a very nice small structure. I think it's gonna be easy to show using a very simple connection. I'll take, for example, these connections here. They have it's a very common connection actually, but I think it's a good example to show you these features that we have, at least two of them. Okay. All right. The first two features that I'll show to you is related to this area of our screen. Okay, there are some operations that will help us to increase our productivity, organizing this list of operations. Okay, because depending on the type of connection, according to the number of elements or number of bars that we have in this node, this list of operations can be large. Okay, and it's important to maintain the sequence of operations in some cases, because they can have one operation in some situations need information from a previous operation, so there is some situations we can have a logic sequence to follow, and then the way that we name these operations and we duplicate these operations, so it's important to maintain it organized, especially if the connection is it's something a little bit larger than this. Okay, of course I get this little guy here just to show you in a simple situation, to be a little bit more for educational purposes. Let's say that it's better to get a simple case. Okay, the situation here is we have this little bar that where we can see some new buttons here. We'll see how these buttons work, and we also can see that there is an icon here available to help us to understand which operation is in each line. And sometimes the name of the operations, it's not enough, because I don't know, maybe we changed the name or we have too many operations and it's confused. So this little icon now help us to know which one of these operations is this line before we click and open this operation. Okay, so this is part of these new features related to this operations manager, let's call it. All right, the part that I think it's more important here is the option to create groups or folders of operations. Okay, so let me create one that I will call, for example, operations related to V2. Okay, I have here V2 that is connecting to V1, and then here I have V3 that is connecting to V1. So I will probably have the same operations that I've applied to V2, then apply it to V3. Okay, because they are quite similar, maybe the same in this case. So if I organize the files, or the operations to V2, then I can compare V2 to V3 to see if I really adopted the same parameters, or even I can use information from V2 to then create V3. So it's why I'll create one folder that is all that is related to V2, okay, and another folder that is all that is related to V3. Okay, two folders that I'm just putting here in the end of my list. Okay, The first thing that I've introduced here when I was modeling this connection, it was an adjustment operation to adjust the V2 to the nearest face of the V1. Okay, so this is an operation related to V2. I'll grab this operation and put it here on V2. Okay, this is also part of this new feature. Now you can grab these operations, move it in the list, or if you release these operations in a folder, you will include this operation in this folder. Okay. The second, the next operation that we have here, it's a cut in the V2, in the top of V2, with some dimensions here, and so it's again it's an operation related to V2. I will put it here inside of V2. Okay. The next one, it's an operation to add this lateral plate here. Okay, in the web of V2, connecting to the V1. Okay, so again, it's another operation related to V2. So here you can see, you can understand, oh, sorry, you can understand how it works. Okay, I can grab these elements and move it in the list. Okay, here, for example, could be interesting, move this lateral plate to the end of the list, so I can use these little arrows to move the operations also inside of the folders or in the list. The next operation, it's related to V3. Okay, so I'll grab this one, I'll put it here. The next one, it's an adjustment to V3. I will also put it here. The next is related to the connection of V2, the lateral plate 1 to V2, so it's V2. Okay. The next one, it's related to the V3 so let's put it here. Okay, sorry, here. It's gonna be better. And the last one, it's the bolts that are also related to V3. Okay. There is something here that is not correct. The software tells to us that it's impossible to. That is not. There is the plate is not correct. Why? Because if you see the order that I introduce it, it's not correct. First, I must add a plate to then connect the bolt to the plate. So in this side it's correct, but in this side it's incorrect because the order of the operation. So let's use these new buttons here to change the lateral plate here, and then when I create the bolts, I introduce the bolts, I can select the lateral plate one that was introduced previously. Okay. So with this little example, I think I can show you how to work with this new operations manager, or this list of operations. So the first thing is, you can now edit the name of the operations. You can see the icon of these operations. You can move the operations using the arrows. You can create your folders using this little button here. Okay. Another example of this that I think it's interesting, it's in this case I've classified by V2 and V3. So now I have the chance to deactivate everything that is related with this group. So look the difference, V3 and V2. Okay, so I can activate and deactivate. And again, if I'm doing something a little bit more complex, I can try to combine some operations. Maybe in some situation it will not work, then I will try another combination of operations, and I can use these folders to save these intents, and instead of deleting everything, trying again. Okay, and in the end, when I decide which is the best combination, I can delete those operations that are not enough. Okay, so for example here, if I delete this folder, I will delete everything that is related to the V3. Okay, of course I can do the same by duplicating, in this case, the V2. Okay, creating a new group that is operations V3. But of course now I must change some parameters, changing, for example, V3 to V2 to V3, again V3 to V1 to V2 to V3, V3 to V to V. You understand. And here also connecting the bolts of V3. Okay, let's see, where is my mistake here. The point is the name of my operation here, it's this plate. Okay, and as you can see, when I have this organized in a folder, it's also easier to duplicate a combination of operations by duplicating the whole folder. Okay, another use of this is that you can then export this list. Okay, and look the difference. If I export, in this case, this folder, I'm exporting just one of the bars, as so that could be interesting to when this connections is much more complex than this, for example, and you need to save it into your library, or when you have some similar connections in your project but they're not exactly the same, but they have parts that are common, because then you can import this this partial list of operations. You don't need to import everything, you can import just one part. Okay, so this is another use that you have here when you classify your operations in using folders. Okay, another feature that we have here is an option to search in the list of operations. Okay, so here you just can search everything that is related to sections or everything that is related to a specific bar. Okay, it's why it's important define a name to this operation that can be then easily that can be searchable. So again, if you have a large list of operations, that will help you to increase your productivity. Okay, all right, so here we have two of the new features that we've implemented in Cype Connect and StruBIM Steel that are related to this list of operations. Okay.